Get ready, it's time for the podcast voted most likely to make you say, what the flock? It's the Talking Pools show. And here are your hosts, the dysfunctional duo of myth-debunking pool pros, Rudy Stankiewicz and Andrea Nannini.
Hold up, wait a minute.
My name is Rudy Stankiewicz.
And I'm Andrea.
And Andrea.
I'm Andrea.
She has a mouth.
Rudy started the recording. Yes, sorry, Rudy. Rudy started the recording as I was chewing. Thank you very much.
And this is the Talking Pools show.
Wait,
Not too bad.
I thought we were a podcast.
What are you eating? Well, it's a show on the podcast.
Oh, I got
right?
you.
It's
okay.
a show.
What am I eating? I was just asking
what do you have?
Before we started, do you shop at Publix?
I do.
Okay. So, well, to answer your question, I'm eating a pre-prepared meal for one because I just happened to stop at Publix on my way home. And they're already made, and all you got to do is throw it in the oven, which is what I was doing when we started also. Anyway, it's like a cheese... It's like a cheese stuffed chicken breast, and then it has a side of like they call it corn salsa, so it's like corn and red peppers and I guess more cheese.
That was the longest answer ever for something that should have just been chicken.
Chicken.
I'm eating chicken.
Chicken.
So chicken from Publix. It sounds yummy.
It's really good. Chicken.
Is it good?
Chicken and corn with a lot of cheese. We'll just call it that. How about that?
So let me ask this. Your son, we spoke about him on the program before. His name is Dickhead.
Yes. His name is Sandro. But
Sandro.
Uh-huh.
But you affectionately, in a term of endearment, refer to him as...
the dickhead who woke me up at 3:30 this morning, which is why I decided to leave my house at 4 o'clock. So yeah, good, bringing it around. We're full circle.
So does Sandro work? Does he have a job?
He had a job, but they did not like his hours because it was actually during school. He has yet to get his lazy ass up and go get another job.
And how old is he?
How old is he? He just turned 17 at the beginning of July. His birthday's the 3rd.
Okay, so he's 17, so he's lazy and he doesn't want to work, and that's really the only reason he doesn't have a job right now.
Yeah. And it's my fault for not getting on him a little bit harder, but he was actually supposed to go and work with my mom and do pools with her, but he keeps not waking up early because he likes to invite people over to my house at ungodly hours of the night, which I'm about to put a stop to. So anyway, sorry, I rattled off.
Girls?
Huh?
Girls?
Oh my goodness. I'll just tell you real quick. So this morning he woke me up because I had doors opening and closing. So I was like, whatever. I go to make my pot of coffee and there was somebody in the bathroom and I assumed that it was him because I actually didn't know there were people here. And some random girl comes walking out of the bathroom and I was like, I almost swore at her, but I held myself back and I was like, oh my God.
Was she cute?
I mean, whatever.
Then the boy is forgiven. So Sandra, if you're listening,
oh my God,
it is okay to have cute girls over in the middle of the night.
No, it is not. You shut up.
You totally have my permission. You have the permission, I'm sure, of every guy listening right now. If you're going to sneak cute girls into your house at 3 a.m, just tell them to be a little bit quieter and stop using your mom's toothbrush.
Oh, ew, gross. No, they have their own bathroom. Thank God.
All right. But that's not the point. So what I wanted to talk about was the whole working thing, because that's another shortage we're facing. We have a workforce shortage. We can't get lifeguards, right? We've had a lifeguard shortage for years. There's so many city pools and parks department pools that don't open every year just simply because they don't have enough lifeguards to staff the pools. We're seeing the same thing in the pool industry. In fact, a lot of the shortages that we see are at least partially caused by the workforce issues.
Yeah, the acid we couldn't get because there were no drivers is what I was told. Nobody to drive the trucks to deliver it. So
let me ask this then, because just in trying to figure out whose fault this is, because it works out, I'm, Gen X, you're a millennial, your son's Gen Z.
I'm on the cusp.
Doesn't matter.
I'm a Gen Zennial.
You're there. You can be whatever you want, but right now, as far as this conversation goes, you're a millennial, and that's where I need you to be.
Fine, okay.
So, but the people that we can't get to work are Gen Z. right? Those are the people that we need to come into the workforce. And Gen Z goes up to what age now?
Oh, I do know this, but I'm gonna blank. I do know that because I've looked it up a bunch of times, but I'm gonna blank on it.
But they're into their early 20s, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So these are the people that we need to get to work. These are the people that we can't get to work. I'm sure there's enough of them.
Oh yeah.
Right. So 17 years old, your son, he's Gen Z. You're somewhere in that millennial range. And I'm not going to sell you out and tell them which end of the scale you're on. And I'm
closer to Gen
X.
Gen X, I mean. So, Gen X. Sorry.
Sure. We can tell that story if you want to.
That's fine. I'll be Gen Z. I'll be 10 years younger than I am. I got no problem with that.
But so whose fault is it that he doesn't go to work? Yours or his?
Well, I will take the blame, partial blame. I will accept partial responsibility because, like I said a second ago, I'm not as hard on him as I should be. But he also, like I said before, has full opportunity to go and work with my mother, and he chose not to. So that was not my responsibility.
That's also doing pool service, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you guys aren't aware, Andrea's mom also owns a swimming pool service company over there in Stewart.
Yep.
Okay. Over in Stewart. So, and we've talked to her before too. If you remember, we had her freaking out when I told her daughter was abducted. I thought it would be a cool part of the show. Just didn't, I'm not a mom. I don't take those things into mind. Anyway.
And she's crazy.
So he doesn't work. Let me ask you this. He has a social life, right? Where does he get money?
He has a band, actually.
His band makes money?
No, they don't.
Where does this money come from?
He doesn't actually have any.
He doesn't? So he never asks you to borrow money?
He got a birthday card. He will. He will ask me certain things, but for right now, I got to spot his ass.
Why? Isn't that part of the problem?
Yes, it is.
I mean, so here's the thing. He doesn't want to work. You don't make him work. He doesn't need money because if he needs money, he asks you and you just give it to him.
Oh, this is a temporary situation. Trust me.
Whether it's temporary or not. I mean, I'm not talking about your family in general.
Oh my God, you are attacking me, Rudy.
Yes, today we were going to discuss Andrea's parenting skills. I am being
grilled right now like a jalapeno.
Under the guise of workforce shortage.
I tried to get him a job at the company that I work for now. I'm just waiting. I've put in feelers to see because I know that they're hiring because everybody's hiring. Everybody's looking for people. Everybody's
hiring everywhere. Everybody needs somebody. So, I mean, I'm not saying
I put in an offer for him, to get a job where I'm working at currently. He also has the option to work for my mother. So yeah, I mean.
And how's he doing with that? Where is he now? It's 1:30 in the afternoon. Where is he?
I don't know, Rudy. I just got home and started recording with you.
But my point is let's just say, I mean, you may or may not be the average millennial and he may or may not be the average Gen Z person. I think I probably am the average Gen X person, but still that could be what's going on across the nation. It's a different in the way folks were raised. I think your mom made you work, right?
Yeah. I had a job at 15.
And you had to have a job, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I had a job so that I didn't have to ask my mother for stuff because that was more of a pain in the ass than getting a job. So
because Paulette wasn't quick to give up the cash.
No, she wasn't.
And your mom's my age, right?
Yeah, I think you're pretty much the same age. Yeah.
So we grew up. Yeah, so we grew up about the same way. Just she was over in Chicago and I was way over in New York. So it's not like it's the same geographic location, but that same age group. So we made our kids work. My kids, if they needed money, I told them they had to get a job. Otherwise they just didn't get any.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. You're probably more in line with the way people are parenting nowadays. And it's just a different philosophy. I'm not going to be one of those, people that sit here and go, well, the problem with the younger generation is the parents don't make them work. That's not what the goal here is. I'm just trying to get it figured out.
Yeah.
So that way we can, just in the conversation, so we can talk about it. So but let me ask you this then, shifting from that topic.
You know what? I know what you're
Being
gonna.
that you look-
I know what you're gonna
You
ask.
look really uncomfortable.
I'm gonna go kick his ass right when we're done with this. He's going to freaking apply for a bunch of jobs. You just lit a fire. You just kicked my ass. Now I'm gonna go kick his ass.
And, if you want your child just to have summers and things along those lines, that's okay too. I'll tell you what. I got my first job. She's actually eating chicken again.
I'm sorry. I'm going to shut my mic off. Hold on.
You don't have to shut your mic off, but I got my first job when I was 12 years old. And it was working at a farm up in Long Island. Believe it or not, there are farms there. I was a corn husker, and my job was to pick corn up and down fields into a burlap sack. 55 years to a bag, I'll never forget. And to this day, I can pick a great ear of corn without having to peel the husk back just because of how it feels. So, skill sets, right? But I got paid $2.15 an hour. That was what I was paid.
$2.15. Sorry.
Initially, when they hired me, they didn't know how well I would do. So they were paying me 10 cents a bag to fill. 10 cents a bag until the amount of bags I collected exceeded the $2.15, which was farm minimum wage then. And that was my first job. And I worked that job for 3 years, year round. I picked corn throughout the entire summer months, then did firewood for the same person throughout the winter months, cutting firewood, selling cords of wood, that type of thing.
When I lived in Illinois, the kids would do corn husking.
I moved to a small town here. I know you know where it is. I moved to Williston when I first came down to this area. And I was only there a short time. It was a little bit of culture shock for me. They've kept their community free of big business, which is their goal, and that's fantastic. But I didn't like having to drive to other towns when I needed things, so eventually I moved. But while I was there, my kids were with me. And one of the things they have there is they have peanut farms and watermelon farms.
They do?
So they have,
cool.
Both. They have this watermelon farm there, and it's an actual job for people in the area. They can go and load watermelons into the back of the bus all day long, and it pays $100 a day.
Oh, cool.
And I don't think that's a bad job for a 16 or 17-year-old.
No, it's not.
$100 in their pocket every single day. Go down there, work 5 or 6 days, $600 a week. You're 16 years old. You're doing pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But nah, they didn't want to. You know where they wanted to work instead?
McDonald's.
Actually,
I don't even think there is a McDonald's in Williston. It was like a Wendy's. There was like a Wendy's.
No.
And that was it.
There was a McDonald's.
Was there? Oh, all right.
When I was there. Yeah. There's one there, but that's where they chose to work for minimum wage, which was not $15 an hour then. But they wanted to take the easier route, and they were okay with making less money because it was easier.
And air conditioned.
Right? And, well, you know what? Look at what you do during the day. Look at what I used to do during the day. Every one of our listeners, or almost every one of our listeners, is out there sweating their asses off on a regular basis, busting their backs out there in the hot sun to make sure that people have enjoyable swimming pools. I think good, hard work is super important in somebody's life. At least they should experience it. Even if they move on to other things and they get out of it, they should at least experience it for a little while.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, my kid knows enough he's been doing pools with me long enough. I've taught him. He's gone with my mom a bunch of times. There's no reason for him to not be able to apply at a pool store. I don't know. I know he probably can't drive anywhere and like do a route, but my sisters both worked at the place where my mom first started when they were 16, like filling buckets and moving stuff and, just random stuff.
The good sister and the evil sister?
Yes, both of them.
My youngest son right now he works for a pool service company. He's been there for a few years, right? Mm-hmm. So from the times that I made him tag along with me to vacuum and skim and all those good stuff, now he uses that skill set and he finds it as a benefit and he actually loves what he's doing.
He's probably really good at just looking at the pool and knowing the chemistry too, just like you can tell a piece of corn just by touching it.
Yes, that's my skill set. It has nothing to do with swimming pools. I've managed to pick up nothing there, but gosh, that piece of corn.
You'd walk by Rudy in the grocery store.
Enough of you. So anyway, but the point being is that people don't want to do hard work, at least in that age group. And we used to love to do it. Didn't we? At least in my era we did.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
My father told me point blank. My dad told me when I was a kid, you know what? If you want more money, you work harder.
Yeah.
That's how you get more money, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, he is trying to complain about because he broke his iPhone and he's actually asked me for money to fix it. And I said, no, go get a job because I'm already paying for your cell phone service.
You see there, but there you go. You're paying for his cell phone service.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
what
think
incentive
it's important
does he
for
have?
him to have it, though.
Why? I didn't have one. Did you?
No. Well, not as a kid, no. But I mean, I got to know where the kid is.
Did you live?
I did. I was lucky enough to, yes.
Well, that's the thing. And everybody my age did. So we're looking at this like, does he have to have? I mean, I'm not trying to talk, not him as a rule. This kid's going to hate me. But let's just say every kid in that age group, do they have to have a phone?
I like knowing where my children are, so that's why I provide it for them. It's for my comfort.
Then get rid of the phone and hook a low jack up to his ass and send him out there. And then when you can track him on the computer, you'll know exactly where he is. So this shortage. So let me ask this though, where can we hire people? What works for you? What have you seen? What have you heard about? I have my thoughts, but I'm just curious as you chew.
Mm-hmm. My corn.
What areas do you think, well, even when, what do you think would work well?
Like to recruit people, you mean, or get the word out there that this industry is hiring, or what do you mean?
Well, right now there's people out there, there's companies out there in our business. We know the lifeguards. We already spoke about that. They're operating shorthanded as well. How do we get to the point where we're not operating shorthanded? Where do we find these people? The bodies that we need. Hopefully not more than bodies, hopefully intelligent people. I don't want to just hold a mirror under their nose and see if they fog it, I don't want to hire somebody who's got so many holes in their underwear from sitting around when they fart at whistles.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was going to say,
that's not what the goal is.
Back to our other episode, we don't want to fill the pool with dead bodies. We want to keep them out.
I want somebody who's more than a zombie. I don't want a zombie pool tech. So where do we find these people that are eager to learn, that would be interested in doing what we do? And how do we convey that message that it's a good job?
Well, I don't know. I guess I would say start with the people that are in the pools. I don't know.
Swimming?
Yeah. That's why I started. That's why I got into the pool industry, because I was one of those kids that would never get out of the pool. That's why I enjoy it.
I thought you said your mother made you do it.
No. She made me get a job.
Okay.
And then when I was 18 and old enough to get a route and handle the chemicals and drive safely and things like that, that's why I stayed interested in it, I guess.
What do you think? If I got a big tent, right, and rented a spot of land in Orlando and just put it there, a big air-conditioned tent, or even a building or whatever, a warehouse space, and invited every pool company from the area to come in and set up a booth and did a job fair, do you think we'd be able to hire people, or nobody'd show up and it'd just be all of us hanging out?
I think a little bit of both, but aren't you talking about the industry trade shows that we have? Is
that a job fair?
You're talking about something separate.
No, I'm talking about something separate, but there's definitely been times where I've looked at those industry trade shows as a job fair, depending on who I was working for, going around with resumes and handing them out at each booth as I went around.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea if you wanted to, like, maybe switch the industry specific area that you're in. Like, say, for example, if I wanted to go, I know what you're saying, but that would be a good way to network with people and get into other jobs.
For you going to the job fair, the
trade show.
But I'm talking about the job fair. Do any of our listeners actually participate in job fairs? Because those are usually, you got to pay a fee, but those are open to a lot of folks. I don't know about monster.com and those things anymore. Do people even use those any longer?
I have no idea.
I don't know. What about
a job fair is a good idea, though. If you go into the schools and you could get interested. Excuse me, let me start over. You could get the teenagers and young adults interested in lifeguard positions and things like that you were talking about.
But we have to educate people at the same time. So it has to be an educational experience, because the truth of the matter is we all have this stigma about us that we drive by in the truck with the pole sticking out the back of it, that we must be not making that much money.
Well,
but the truth is,
there's that, and I saw a comment on the internet the other day about taking care of pools is a useless job.
And that's unfortunately the opinion of a lot of people. And they look at what we do. And do you think maybe that is what keeps people away from applying for jobs in the pool industry, applying for jobs? They don't realize the vast, I'm going to say vast because it's used, stealth opportunity that exists within the swimming pool industry. I mean, most of the people I know clear well over 6 figures.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Lots of successful pool companies.
But yeah, so there's a lot of people out there that just have this stigma. So how do we put it out there that this is a good opportunity, that this is a good position? There's a lot of areas, there's a lot of room for growth. And I mean, whether it's this or that lifeguard position, because that lifeguard could get to be an aquatics director one day. I have a lot of friends that take my classes and that, right now hold aquatics director positions at all types of facility across the country, including major universities. And that, they seem to enjoy their jobs quite a bit. How do we get that message out there?
I don't know. I guess just be present and around where people are going to swim. I don't know, dude. You got me on the spot.
But why do we want, I want people who can swim, but I don't want swimmers in general. I mean, I don't want, what would interest your son?
What would interest
what kind
my
of
son?
Job? Yeah. Or people or his friends, the ones crawling in out of your windows at night.
I don't know. I don't know.
You just don't like that thought. So
no, I mean, I tried.
What are you going to do? Wouldn't it be really super cool? Like if Sandro says, you know what, this, I'm going to with her really good, right? So one night, 3:00 in the morning, he has one of his friends walk into your room and stand next to your bed and just stare at you without moving. How cool would that be?
It would be awful.
You'd feel the eyes, right? Wouldn't you feel the eyes upon you at some point?
Yes, I've actually had kind of that same situation in see, I don't want to call it a sleep paralysis episode because I don't think it was full on sleep paralysis, but I've had a dream like that before and it was very scary.
Was it the girl from The Ring?
No, it was my son actually.
Did he have his hair combed over his face?
He did, because that's how he wears his hair. That's how he wears his hair.
So, all right. What about transitioning veterans or transitioning military personnel? People getting out of the service.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. That's actually, doesn't Mary do that? Mary has a thing where she hires veterans.
Veterans exclusively.
Yes, she does.
But for all these other areas, I mean, is this something that we've tried and there's no appeal? I mean, right now, a lifeguard to me sounds a hell of a lot like what I was doing when I was on guard. You're standing there watching, making sure that something doesn't happen. It seems like the skill set's right there.
Yeah, for sure.
The same thing. They also have first responder training. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but they do. So if they ever pull somebody out of the pool that has a sucking chest wound, they know how to fix it.
Ooh.
Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we want CPR and things along those lines. But they can be easily trained for that because it's up their alley. So why would somebody coming out of the military not want to be a lifeguard?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, don't they? It's like you said, it's right up there. They've already been pretty much doing that, right? In a sense.
Right.
So yeah.
They've been on guard duty. It's just, now it's in a bathing suit and a stand. Their job is to, protect. So to me, it's very similar.
Yeah.
And there's different job boards that are specific to the military where they look for jobs. And I remember when I was in, and this was a long time ago, but, now they talk about job boards and such, but back then we didn't have those opportunities. There'd actually be a job fair. What are you looking at me like I'm freaking crazy?
Well, because you said job boards, and I was thinking of like an actual bulletin board that you would have to go and look at as opposed to an internet.
No,
posting.
Wow. Dear God, I don't know what it was that I've done in a prior life, but I've got the message, and whatever it is, I'll stop. So what about that? What if we had job fairs for transitioning veterans? What if we contacted the VA directly? What if we contacted the Veterans of Foreign Wars,
the VFW and the DAV.
Yeah, what if we contact those places looking and see the problem?
That's a really good idea. People, sorry to interrupt you. But yeah, that's like a untapped resource kind of thing. Because when you said it, I had to kind of think about it, and the only person that I could think of doing it was Mary, our friend Mary Prettyman. But yeah, I was trying to think as you were talking, and I haven't really seen anybody else kind of tapping into that, or at least it's not a common thing that I am aware of.
And do you think that it would lend differently toward, becoming a pool tech? I don't see that as being I mean, I guess you'd have to look at what job they held to get an idea of where they would fit, because you're probably going to have to help them transition their skill sets, because that's not something young military personnel are good at, transitioning their skill set into the real world of, employment. So you're probably going to have to help them with that. So the same thing in pool service. I mean, some of the times that I've been out there and I've walked into these different pump rooms that are a complete disaster, where the vacuum DE systems are all schmugged up and full of gack and stuff that have come off of the bathers, people gack, all that crud and gross vomit like substance that just comes off of their skin.
I call it
people grease.
People grease, yeah.
And I would go in there and I would think to myself, you know what? I've done worse. I've done worse.
That's so gross.
I've done 30 days without a shower. I've done worse.
30 days without a shower, and then you can definitely handle a dead rabbit in the skimmer for sure.
Well, because I know that, I'm going to go home and take a shower today, and that's going to happen. So how cool is that? I get a shower. I've cleaned toilets with toothbrushes, so this is not as bad. I can clean pool tile.
With the toothbrush? Hopefully not the same toilet toothbrush, though.
No, the kid that snuck in at 3 and grabbed yours, that one.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So that's an option. How about local Boy Scout organizations?
Boy Scouts?
Or Girl Scouts?
For
which one doesn't exist anymore? I guess I think Boy Scouts still exist.
They both still exist.
Boy Scouts.
Oh wait, didn't the Boy Scouts go bankrupt, and then the Girl Scouts wanted to be Boy Scouts? So
I have no idea what happened, but some youth organization that involves scouting. How about them? I mean, their meetings are only once a week. I know they go camping sometimes, but you have kids that are used to being in uniform, showing up for meetings and doing organized tasks with a leader.
So you're talking about the staffers, like the camp counselors.
No. I'm talking about the 16, 17-year-old kids.
Right. I thought
that are doing this.
Because when you said Boy Scouts, I just thought of 7-year-olds, and I was like, what's a 7-year-old gonna do?
No, those are Cub Scouts.
Ah, okay.
They're like brownies.
I see.
Were you a Girl Scout?
No.
Eventually they end up as a Girl Scout, and they got the Thin Mints. So, the Boy Scouts, I'm sorry, if they're sitting out in front of the supermarket with that lame ass popcorn they're selling, they can keep it. I'm looking for Thin Mints. But what about those folks?
Yeah, that's a good idea too. I mean,
they have summers off, right? They're school age people. They're in that job market. And why not get them at 16, 17 years old and then start training them? And hopefully if you treat them right, they'll come back every summer, even throughout college. I mean, if you get somebody that's of that age, you'll have them every summer for at least 7 years if they go to college local.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
Internships for college age students.
You mean
maybe
like an apprenticeship?
Not an apprenticeship. I'm talking about an internship where they can actually get college credit for learning some type of management skill at some organization. So I'm not talking necessarily about people out in the field cleaning pools at this point, but almost every college has some type of internship program where they learn something, you pay them a little bit, and they actually get college credits for it as well.
Oh, you mean like a, what's it called? I almost was going to do one, a work to learn.
Work release?
Yeah, something. I don't know. No, shut up. No. No, I know what you're talking about, where you can, you figure happy you got one in, aren't you?
Today on Orange is the New Black. Andrea.
Oh my goodness. No. What was I saying? But I know what you're talking about, where you go and work in the field that you're studying or a similar one, and then you get those credits, and you get the hands-on experience, and you get a paycheck. I mean, win-win-win.
That exactly, and that definitely applies toward aquatics, right? Because people do go to college for that stuff. Mm-hmm. I bet even sports medicine and all those types of things will apply along those lines. Mm-hmm. Then, looking at the pool industry, you do have management positions, you do have office jobs, you do have those types of things as well, where you could just hook up with the local college and see if you can set up some type of internship program. There's no such thing as free internships anymore. Those went away a long, long time ago. You're going to have to pay them, but they have the extra incentive. They have the extra incentive. They have the extra incentive of earning college credits doing what they do.
I like that idea.
When I was in college, I had an internship at a probation office.
Oh.
It was my job to go through the files and figure out where you might be.
Oh, my
Not
goodness.
you specifically, but that was my job. I'd have to sit it all out. They wouldn't let me be part of the team that kicked the door in. But I did go through stacks of stuff from whoever their probation officer is, sorting information, sorting and compiling. Okay, here's where the mother lives. Here's where all throughout these things. Then I would hand it to them and they'd set it up and they'd go through it after I kind of half-assed figured out where the person might be. And then they would send the sheriff's department and they would kick open the door.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so that was my internship when I went to school. I mean, obviously, it was a different field, but nobody said, hey, you know what? This pool company has management position that, they set up as an internship. Would that work?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you done it if you got credits and stuff?
Well, yeah, if I got credits, if I got paid, if I got to learn something, for sure. Absolutely.
Outside of that, we could look at doing job fairs that are either pool specific or participating in local job fairs. We could take a look at the scouts, whatever scouts still exist.
Or whatever similar.
If you screw up my Thin Mint connection, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh no.
So we have that.
See, and I like the Samoas. Sorry, I like the Samoas.
Transitioning. Somebody's got to.
Hey.
So, but then there's the VFW and
DAV.
Say them again.
The DAV
and. Then all of those other veterans organizations and different places that can help veterans transition that we could get in contact with.
That's the other one.
They even have their own papers you could run ads in. And I remember, and I bet they still do this, I know when I was getting out of the service, they did have people you could talk to right there about job opportunities in that area. Of course, at the point in time, I was in Texas and all they wanted to talk about was Border Patrol.
Oh, I was going to say Facebook actually has a job section, if nobody realized that, which is, I've looked through it before, and then it gives you notifications. So you can always advertise for jobs on Facebook too, that way.
On my website, cpoclass.com, I do have a job board where employers can post their employment needs for freight. And anybody who's interested in looking can then take a look through the available jobs, also at no cost to them. It's a service that it's there for. But I have a lot of people coming to my site on a regular basis. They can actually take a look through there as well. And then some of the different people aren't going to be getting trade magazines if they're not in the industry, I wouldn't think.
No.
All different things, all different tools that are available. It is good to work. You should work. You should have job. You should make dickhead have job too.
I should. You're right. He is a dickhead too.
Well, and like I said, it's not bad. It's just the new generation, right? And it's different. And his generation is going to be different as well. And so is the one after that. And,
well, you know how they say that the history repeats itself. So maybe the next generation will make their children start working at 7 years old because we did Nike
did not. Did you think Nike opened a factory in the U.S.? Is that what you're talking about now?
No.
So anyway, that's what I have for this week. Andrea, did you have anything you wanted to tell these lovely people that tune into us?
Well, I would like to ask you to follow us, to subscribe to us, like us. We're on social media, all of it, everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, still waiting on Rudy to send me a TikTok video so I can post it.
Yeah, she wants me to do stupid shit.
Well, TikTok is stupid. What I need you to do, though, actually, I don't know if you can leave this in or not.
You're going to make me leave again, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I messaged you. I want to do a trending TikTok video, but I need questions that we get asked as pool pros.
Oh, is that what you were asking me?
Yes.
That was the most incoherent text I've ever received in my life.
I'm super sorry about that. I don't know how to explain it. I was telling you that there's a trend going on around, and I need from you questions that we get asked as pool pros from like on our podcast or whatever.
I didn't get that out of it at all. Yeah. What I got out of it was you refused to share our podcast with anyone unless I answer some question, which I thought I answered and still didn't see the podcast get shared.
You misunderstood me. Hey, I shared before we started recording. I shared our last episode.
Did you? All right, yeah. Awesome. Now, all right. So everybody, my name is Rudy.
And I am Andrea. And this is Talking Pools.
And we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Yes, have a good one.